Hey, Michael, thank you for joining us today. As a way of getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
Of course. And first of all, thank you for bringing me on the show. Major fan. My name is Michael Wall. I'm based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I live with my wife and two cats. Unfortunately, I did have a dog, so I'm not a crazy cat person. But I've been in sales now for 7 to 8 years, in sales leadership for 4 or 5 of them, I believe. So I've had a pretty diverse background when it comes to sales. I was in oil and gas, I was in fitness, and now I'm currently selling in the 401k realm, where I will sell for human interest.
So you went from hard to easy, or?
Yeah, you could definitely say that.
Well, that's it. I was doing my research on you,
Mhm.
and we've had a lot of people from the payroll side, a couple from the 401k side, but anyone selling to HR or finance, I have sympathy for.
Yeah, well, it was a broken market for a long time.
Was
So
it?
I actually was looking to get out of it. So with you looking at my resume, when I got into 401k, I was working for a company called Paychecks,
Yeah.
where a lot of the problems in the 401k space is since it's an IRS product, there's a lot of moving pieces. So there's a record keeper, there's a third party administrator, and then there's the fiduciary. So you have three parties where Paychecks and them are just the bat suit of Bruce Wayne, right? They're just a logo, and then there's so many different factors. Where when I was looking to leave, that was the main reason. When human interest reached out to me, they actually put it all in one spot where now they integrate with 200 payroll solutions and they make it really, really easy, which has made my selling process a lot easier too, because it's finally like, hey, I'm the solution you were looking for. Give me a chance to talk.
Yeah.
So it's actually gotten a lot easier over the past 3 years to sell this. And it helps that there are 25 mandates throughout the United States that small businesses have to have 401k.
And who's your point of entry? Is it payroll? Is it above
So
that?
we have unlimited. So our go-to-market strategy is very unique. So we have a partner account executive that goes out into the field where they partner with benefit brokers, CPAs,
Yeah.
financial advisors, payroll. They bring them in. They're not like an SDR. They're very skilled professionals. I compare them more to medical sales. So you have a bunch of doctors and you have to have them continuously buy your tools, not Boston Scientific or J&J. And then it comes into the account executive where we actually sell the product, build the plan, design and things. So we have an unlimited resources of who brings it in, because in this realm, if you don't have payroll, HR, benefits all in one solution, you're now a product seller. You're not a solution seller.
Yeah.
And the client's going to go somewhere else because everyone's looking for the one-stop shop at this time, especially the new clients.
And so what's the hardest part of it?
The hardest part, getting I'm not interested. But
Yeah.
honestly, the hardest part is getting them to understand the emotional side of a 401k. So the misconception of 401k is it's just an employee benefit, where reality, most of the clients that I work with, it's really a tax benefit. So it's a way to shelter taxes for the business if they're profitable, or their own personal retirement. A lot of business owners don't have their own personal retirement. Their personal retirement is either real estate or the business. So just getting that emotional buy-in is
Yeah.
the hardest part of the job. And obviously the dials. I mean, no one likes to dial. If you say you like to dial, you're crazy, but that's okay.
And when you hear not interested, it's usually they don't understand it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And who says they're not interested? Is it HR? Is it finance or payroll
Yeah,
or?
so yeah, so I'll never talk to the payroll rep unless I'm trying to get in front of them. So that's a good pivot point as well. So like I'm not interested. I have the flexibility to go to that payroll rep or the benefits and say, hey, I can't get a hold of this client. If you close them down, are they shopping? Things of that nature, get some intel there. But when I'm talking to clients, it's a lot of HR directors, CFOs, CEOs. They change, which my sales process changes because not each individual wants something different. So
Yeah.
HR wants ease of use, integration. I don't want to do anything. I wear multiple hats, things of that nature. CFO is more cost driven, fiduciary burden, responsibility, and then CEO is just like, I'm busy. Can we get this meeting over? Like, what is it in for me, right? And reading that room and just asking simple questions like, what are you looking to accomplish? and get to those buying needs so you can be a consultant.
And how or what separates the people who are really good in this space versus the people who are okay?
Yeah, I love that question. So I actually will take it a step further. I don't think it's just a space, I think it's sales. So I think what separates a good sales rep is understanding that you are selling something, it's about the client and not about you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like most sales reps, what they do is they go through training, they get this bullet point pitch, they say the pitch, and they're like, oh, I said the pitch, why aren't they buying?
Right. I did my part.
And right, when you did do your part, right? You didn't ask the second, third level questions of like, hey, who's doing your payroll? Oh, you are. How are you manually processing payroll to the 401k? Are you doing that? Do you like that? Is that something you want to continue to do?
Yeah.
And just continuously ask those questions so they can feel what solution I'm about to bring to them. So now I'm not a sales rep, I'm a consultant. So I can give them that solution to get to the finish line of like, wow, okay, this is worth the dollar that it's worth the cost. And I actually don't even care what it costs now because it's fixing something.
Yeah.
So I think that's sales in general. And that happened with fitness when I was in fitness. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you going for the pool? What are you here for? To oil and gas when I was selling to, oh, you have a terracotta sewer line. You know, if that breaks, it's like $10,000. Like you should have PVC. Like just finding those pain points in each industry. And then now you're top tier percent of all sales because no one takes the time, in my opinion, to learn what your product actually is fixing. They just
Yeah.
take what the business told them or the company that they're working for told them.
They kind of fall into the commodity trap. What is it?
Right.
How's it work? How's it different? What's it cost?
Yes. Yes.
How did you learn this? Was it through watching somebody else or trial
Yeah.
and
So
error?
so I have dyslexia. So one of the big things for me is I'm a visual learner. So I have to have a picture for me to learn, which helps me in sales because then I can articulate a picture to the client. And I learned that by mentors. So I'm a huge component on like you are not doing yourself a service and you're plateauing. If you don't find the best salesperson or the best leader in your organization and hound them, just like you hound a client, like, how do you do this? How did you do that? What does this mean? I don't understand how you explain that to me. Can you change it up? So then they're learning you, and you're not a burden because you're asking good questions. You want to win. And I think that goes back to my sports time. So I played collegiate sports. I played football, so watching film was like every day. Like watch this play that you did wrong over and over and over again. And now in sales, we have tools such as like Gong that I love. So I actually have film study every night where I'll go in and be like, why do I keep saying Why I didn't answer that question that they asked? Like just answer the question. We went on a tangent. Things of that nature. So really in the mentors, like Vicky Sorokin was one of them. Les Scott was one of them, um, who just took my beginner sales level to expert and beyond.
And let's touch on that dyslexia thing because it seems to be a disproportionate number of salespeople have it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense because dyslexics tend not to excel in academia because they don't think like academics.
Correct. Correct.
How has it
And
affected your career?
I think it made me better, to be
Yeah.
honest, when it comes to sales. So I just ran into sales. So I got out of school, had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my aunt told me you should go work at LA because I had a nutrition degree in communication. So I was like, okay. So I went in and I just started liking it because I'm talking what I love. And that's why I thought I was good. And I was able to articulate and create these stories and paint pictures of like why they're doing it. Because again, I'm a visual learner. Like that's how I just learned. So I articulated to them, if I can learn it this way, you definitely can learn it this way. So then at the end, I'm teaching them. And then when I transitioned to oil and gas, where I knew nothing, zero, I knew nothing about oil and gas. And that's when Les Scott started teaching me about pipes and like what a PEX pipe was, a terracotta pipe. And I was like, wow, I'm teaching individuals like the roots of a house. Like, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But then it hit me. It's I'm good at sales. I'm good at communicating with people. I'm good at painting pictures. I'm good at making people trust me because I'm just being me. I'm not faking anything. I'm just telling them the facts. And when you stick to the facts and you genuinely care because you're actively listening to them and you're repeating what they told you, is this what you were looking for? You told me this. Is this what you were? Is this it? Is this as easy as you thought it would be? Um, I think that all comes back to the dyslexic part of my learning because that's just how I communicate to people, which makes it super easy.
Yeah. And you're not acting or talking like a salesperson,
No, no,
right? Because
no.
you get treated the way you behave.
Behave, and you can feel it. You can feel it when they come in.
Yeah.
So, and I think the other thing is most sales reps, they like the word vomit and force things down people's throats, where that's not my job. My job is to listen to what you want. What are you looking to accomplish? Why are you allowing me to talk to you today? I'm here to help you. Help me help you is the line that I always like to say. So like if they have an objection, oh, I'm sorry, you told me this, this, and this. Help me help you. Like what is it that you're looking for? Obviously, there's a disconnect here.
Yeah.
And they can feel that because I'm not trying to waste my time either. Right. So I have things to do just like you do. So like I want to get this done as fast as possible as well. So let's just cut to the chase and figure out what exactly there is a need, if there is one. And if there isn't one, do you know anyone else
Yeah.
that needs this? Because business owners talk.
And what was your motivation to get into leadership?
Uh, to be honest, every single time I went into leadership, it was not something I was actively looking for. Every single time. And it's something that I just have naturally done. So like I've never been asked to help someone. I've never been asked to go the extra mile. I just do it. So if someone calls and they ask for help, I'm like, sure. Because again, it goes back to I wasn't good at school. I needed help going through my career. So what makes me that special that I can't help someone else? So taking that time to like articulate to them, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you should do, and going in more of a teaching route has just led me into these roles where they've asked me. I've taken them and I've excelled in them and I've really enjoyed it. But I like sales in general. So either role to me is fun because it doesn't change who I am as a person,
Yeah.
whether I'm in the leadership role or I'm in the sales role. I can still help people because my ultimate why is my wife. So if I'm not making enough money, the wife isn't as happy. So definitely a huge component on that.
Yeah. Is that your why? The
That is my
family?
why. That
Yeah.
is my why. Yeah, my wife is my why. Um, every single she's just an amazing woman, hardworking, and it's we hold each other accountable, which is great.
Well, as humans or mammals, we'll always do more for others than we will for ourselves.
Easily,
Yeah.
easily.
And we also live up to our identity.
Hmm.
So if you see yourself as a family guy, family woman, there's a higher purpose there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I think everyone's driven by a selfish drive of reputation.
Which is
Whether they say it's not true or not, it's a fact.
absolutely.
It is
Yeah.
a fact. And the ones who are more open to that and understanding that, I think there's in sales too. I think sales is one of those unique opportunities where you can make more than an engineer, and it's because a lot more, right? And it's not has nothing to do with your schooling or anything like that,
Right.
but it has you consistently being hard on yourself on how can I be a better human, and so, because it's going to articulate to that client, and they can feel that. So like the little things such as like, oh, why do I think this way? And like changing that mindset of like, oh, okay, this is why. Let me do this. Why do I say this way? That they're not understanding it. Like change it this way. Where now your communication skills are top notch. Where most business professionals are great at sales and great at talking to people, even if they're introverts. And it's because they're just hard on themselves, figuring out how can I be better every single day. I want to beat yesterday. How do I beat yesterday's mic? Today's mic's going to do this. And you just keep doing that over and over again rather than worrying about other people. And I think that's another trap that sales reps do too is, oh, he's in first place. He must be getting all the easy leads. Well, why don't you not worry about that and worry about your process so then you can catch him? And now it's a fun, hey, I'm going to beat you rather than being jealous and things of that nature.
Well, and also the rationalization.
Mm-hmm.
That person's doing better if you have the mindset of, I want to learn why and
Yes.
then become better at it instead of the rationalization, better territory, better leads, boss likes him better, been doing
Yes.
it longer than me. That doesn't help you progress.
No, it actually slows it down.
Slows it down because now you're rationalizing,
Mm-hmm.
which is a delusion.
I
You're
agree.
trying to paint the world so it's more comfortable,
Yes.
not more accurate.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And life isn't fair. And if you thought life was fair, you're in for a rude awakening.
Here's the surprise answer. It's not.
It's not. So just focus on the controllables, and that's the best way you can do anything in life.
Now, I got to believe, coming from fitness, an industry I know pretty well, that they probably had a structured way of interacting.
Have to,
Why? Yeah.
have to. And that's, I think that's another reason why sales reps struggle as well. So they have no structure. They have no clear straight line selling to the end game, right? So the beginning, just building rapport, discovery, going to the presentation, then earning the price, right? You don't just, in my opinion, you just don't show price. Yes, you can give them the tidbits like our pricing's on the website, but let me tell you why we're priced this way. But before I do that, I know nothing about you. I'm a stranger. Can I get to know you a little bit? Yes, awesome. Got the verbal commitment that I can ask questions and I'm going to dive in. I'm going to ask second, third, fourth level questions and only sell to what they tell you. So I think that's another thing that most sales reps have a really, really difficult time doing is I'll be like, hey, what is important to you? I want to lose weight. Well, let me show you the pool. Where did that come from? Where
Right.
did that come
It's
from?
like I love showing the pool.
Right. Like it's like, but it's and you'll hear that from sales reps, right?
Of course
But
you
that's
will.
my favorite feature at LA
Yeah.
Fit. No one cares about you at this current moment. Like this, you have 30 minutes to be perfect. And those 30 minutes is just like a Sunday night football game for the football players. They could be whoever they want all week. But that Sunday, if you're running a cover three, you better run a cover three, period. There's no hiccups. So when they tell you I'm looking to lose weight, oh, perfect. Let me show you the weight room and the cardio area so you can get comfortable with that. And I'm not even going to show the pool. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to talk about it because it's not what they want. And I
Yeah.
just cut 10 minutes off my presentation, which then gives them the ability to concentrate more because if you go on too long, they're not listening. They're just nodding their head. And then at the end of it, you actually have the verbal commitment from them like, hey, this is what you're looking for. This is what I showed you. This is how much it costs. You want to move forward today? Yes. And if they say no, oh, well, help me help you. You told me this, and this was important. Is there something that I missed that you were looking for that you didn't want to move forward? And it's just getting those buying signals and the verbal commitments of trial closing. I'm a big trial closer.
Yeah.
Have to at least three in a call.
Well, if you do it well, it doesn't feel like a trial close. It just feels like you giving them intellectual oxygen to express what's going on in their head.
Yes. Also, accountability. So just like how I said, people get foggy eyed. They're running 18 different miles an hour in 18 different directions. I need you focused on me for 30 minutes. Is this what you were looking for? You'll catch them on the first one. You'll see it like, oh, I wasn't paying attention, but I can't tell them, right?
Right.
Where they'll say, oh, I missed that last 5 minutes of it. Can you read? Yeah, of course. But now you know I'm going to ask you again and
Yeah.
again and again.
And do you visualize or have a way of visualizing your sales process?
I do. So I pre-call plan every call. So once I start an industry, the first thing I ask myself is what are the 4 or 5 major reasons why people buy? So like retirements, personal taxes, personal retirement, integration, and then retain and recruit employees. So my job is to fill those 4 buckets, or at least 2 of them, that I can move forward. And that is the goal. So I'm visualizing. So when I get it, after going through the process over and over and over again, you can tell, right? When they come in, okay, this one's definitely going to be integration. This one's definitely going to be, but let me ask first. Don't skip steps, because that's something too. One of my mentors, Vicky Swartz, she used to always say, you're getting over your skis. And what ended up happening was like, I'm in a very transactional fast pace. So I sell probably 20, 25 401ks a month, right?
Wow.
So when it comes to that, you get cocky with it. Like, oh, you're seeing DocuSign, 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 DocuSign. So what ends up happening is naturally you get lazy with your process and not ask those questions. So that, I used to hate that saying, but I love it because it was true. She's not saying I'm being cocky. She's saying I'm moving too fast. I'm skipping steps. You're getting over your skis. And I'm like, oh, you're right. You're right. I didn't ask the simple questions that I always do. So that's why at the end it was like very awkward when I'm asking, do you want to move forward? Now I'm the pushy sales rep because I didn't earn it. I didn't earn your yes. I didn't earn presenting price to you. Um, and it just, sales is a beautiful thing, and it's in life as well.
And what sport did you play?
I played football in college and basketball as well.
Okay. Which are team sports,
Mhm.
lots of repetition,
Yep. Yep.
and it fits so well to sales because you do all this practice and then you have, especially in football, you have this small moment of time.
Yep. And that's it. And
It's over.
if you mess it up, you're watching film all week on it, all week. And I think that had a lot to do with who I am today and the growth and just being self accountable, because you're forced to be self accountable, especially to your peers. It's your job to show up for them, which sales, I think, is a great career for athletes, competitive minded individuals who are continuously looking to grow themselves because you're forced to grow. You're not in an office working 9 to 5, not talking to anybody. Like you are in the realm of talking to someone every single day, and not everyone's going to like you. And it's
No.
your job to mirror them. If they're a dominant driver, let them ride. If they're more passive, be the warm and fluffy individual that makes them feel comfortable. And that's your job to make sure they feel comfortable at the end of the day.
And when your coworkers come to you or people that you know looking for help or just an ear to
Mm-hmm.
chew on, what are they typically asking?
Yeah, so it depends. So the newer reps are like, "What are you doing?" And
Where's the button? Where's
a
the
lot of
close
things like
button?
this, there isn't a steroid for sales. Like you,
What vitamins do you take?
right, right. Or what's the magic pitch? Do you say it?
Yeah,
And it's so it's just not that at all. It's and then the other questions are once you get to a high level, it's what are the secondary questions? What are trial closes that I can use that I don't just get a yes or no? Like I want them to start talking. Um, like I said with Gong, it's a huge component. One of the big things that I say to reps that come up to me is if you're talking 80% of the time, you talk too much. You don't have to talk the whole time.
it's better that you don't.
Right. And a lot of times, us as sales reps, when we get nervous, that's what we do.
That's why,
We talk. And that's how we like, when we're thinking, we talk out loud to buy ourselves
yes.
time when it's okay to say nothing. It's okay. And allowing silence because they're thinking, they're allowed to think. So when you ask them a question and there's like that little, it feels like 10 hours of silence when in reality it's only like 3 seconds. They're taking in what you said because they're learning. They don't do this every day like you do. So once they get that and you start seeing a light bulb and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's when you excel your next step. And those are a lot of the questions I get, or is like, what's the secret steroid? Things of that nature. Trial closes are the higher level, like what trial closes to use? How do you get over price objections? Like, oh, that's too expensive. Oh, well, what were you expecting cost to be? And sit there and look at them. Like, don't say, oh, I'll drop it to whatever. No, like, what were you expecting? You've obviously done this before then. What were you expecting?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never done this before. Oh, well, then how do you know this is too expensive? Do you not see value in the product that I just shared? You told me this, this, and this, and we're going to fix that. Do you like doing those problems? Oh, I forgot you said that. That's okay. I'm here to help. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything else stopping you or holding you back from moving forward? Because obviously we found one thing. Is there anything else I can help you with? And just using, I'm not throwing it down their throat. I'm just asking simple
Right.
questions to figure out what they need. It's like dating.
It is. Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that because that's really our first complex sale.
Agreed. Agreed.
Because hopefully it's complex.
Agreed. Agreed.
If it's too simple, it might be a problem.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
But it requires us to have multiple meetings. If we
Mhm.
push too fast, we're out.
Yep.
The stakes are high.
So, one thing that reps don't ask enough questions on is the 90% of your communication is via email. And I feel like a lot of reps, the way they word vomit in a sales call, they word vomit in an email. And that's one of the things that I really work with, like when I work with individuals that are like, they're never getting back to me. I'm like, okay, well, why did they buy, first of all? And it's magical grind when they say, oh, and they say the three like bullet points that human interest gave out. I'm like, well, that's not really why they're buying. Those are just like the cherries on top of what makes us look sexy, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are they actually buying? And then when they're actually figured out what they're buying, are you emailing to that? They don't remember your sales call. They don't remember what you look like half the time. So they call me the 401k guy when I call them sometimes,
Yeah.
right? They remember the feel, how they felt in the meeting, but they don't remember all of those types of things. So when you're emailing them, can they open it up on their cell phone and read it in 2 or 3 lines? They don't want to read a book. They're moving quickly. Are you hitting, is every sentence meaningful? Are you hitting exactly what they wanted? It's a science. And I think that's the next level of rep is understanding that it's not just the presentation. It's not just the email you send out after. It is everything from start to finish. How are you attacking that client's needs? Not why aren't you answering anymore? You're rude. Well, you're kind of not giving them a reason to answer you.
Right. You're you're explaining what you know instead of what they want to know
Yes.
or
Yeah.
understand.
Agreed.
Hey, have you found a way of identifying these skills, which is really curiosity and empathy, early in the hiring process?
With reps,
Yeah.
With reps, yeah. So when I interview, the first thing I ask is, do you know what a trial close is? I want the reps who watch Brian's podcast. I want the reps who are endlessly looking to make themselves better. And when they tell me I don't know what that means, well, you've done zero research in sales in general, because that's like basic
Right.
trial. You should know what that is, right? Um, or like, because I feel like a lot of times when you interview someone, it's all about, do you work hard? Do you call people? They're always going to say that. They're always going to say yes. They're always going to give you the best interview ever. So I want to know, like, what does your process look like? Do you have a process? What do you mean, do you have a process? Well, I'm not telling you. Do you have a process? Like, I shouldn't have to tell you what I'm looking for. You should answer the question, do you have a sales process? Because if you don't, how are you selling people? Do you have a discovery portion? Do you have a presentation portion? Like, give me the nuts and bolts of sales 101. Like, these are questions that you should be able to articulate to me in an interview. They're simple questions, in my
Right.
opinion, right? But a lot of people don't.
Well, so many people have the mentality that sales is a string on the DNA, that
Mm-hmm.
you're born with it like your hair color or
Yeah,
your height, versus a skill that you learn and develop, and it's a performance skill. Doesn't matter that you know it, it matters how well you do it.
right. And I think everything's that way. The humans are amazing. Like, humans are truly amazing. And there's something, I forget who it was. I don't want to take credit for it, but he said there's no such thing as lazy people. You're lazy because you don't care about it. You're not lazy about playing video games every night.
You know?
You actually really grind, if you want to use that word. Like you,
On
like
the video
you're
games,
right, right.
the
So
Doritos, you've got them down. Whole
yes,
bag.
right. So it's like a different like way of taking lazy. It's you're not lazy. You just are lazy with the wrong things. Like you
Yeah.
need to shift and be more hyper focused on this or be more structured on like 30 minutes a day. Let me watch a sales podcast. 30 minutes a day. Like, let me get better at this. And that takes no work. It's just like shaving. It's just like getting your hair cut. Like, it takes no work. It just takes you mentally saying, I want to be good at this and do it. And this is coming from the guy who has dyslexia, Brent.
Well, because so do I.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've had to learn things, and I found, like software development where I didn't have to write English, although you're using English words, but it's an algorithm. So you can visualize it in your mind.